everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Dance Talk Realness, a podcast where we discuss all nuances concerning education and dance, because a dance experience is an experience worth talking about. I'm your host, Truly B. I am joined by my co-host, Daryl P. I'm being really out of pocket because this is my birthday week, and I can do what I want. I can do what I want anyway, though, so there's always that. So before we jump into everything, today's quote is from Chukwu Emeka. And he says, "You carry in an important invention that the world needs. Don't wait for the light at the end of the tunnel. Light your own way through the tunnel. You are more powerful than you think." And I think that that is more than appropriate with today's topic, of which we will be discussing the benefits of having an education in the arts. This is primarily coming from the fact that quite a few institutions are starting to cut either their funding or the actual programs as we're heading into this next school year. And I saw a post somewhere, and if I can find the article, I'll post the link to it. But this idea that even though so many people are turning to the arts right now to kind of get through the chaos that is this pandemic. Mm-hmm. And in the midst of all of that, we're still on the chopping block. It's just like, we can't win like ever. Yeah. And so, I kind of want to just we'll start with the positive of benefits. I know I personally have consistently been about the business of, I always think the arts are better than everyone else, because we are. And it's not a slight to say that others are not important. It's just that we're more important. I stand by that decision.
I agree with that.
It's like, I would say sorry, but I would be lying. And so in an effort to not be a liar, I think we are more important. And by more important, I guess I will say along the lines of being more encompassing of the total human being when you are learning the craft. Mm-hmm. For me, and from examples that I've seen, outside of the arts, it is not, I think, a common occurrence for those who are learning those other subjects to feel that every single aspect of their life can be spoken to by that subject. I think for me, the closest that came to that was English. Mm-hmm. What is that for them now? Reading?
Language arts, whatever they're called. English.
That came the closest, but everything else, I mean, maybe history, but history be the struggle for so many people. I'm on that list. They just be like, I need you to connect this a better way. Maybe I just needed a better history teacher. Maybe I just never had a good enough one to make it make sense, because I've been in classes where like the teacher was engaging and I'm like, yes, history. Yeah, this happened? What?
Yeah.
I can tie that into this. And I didn't have that enough in my life. So We'll give history courses honorable mention for that. Yeah. But to be honest, math was not the business. It had its place, it had its role, but was it always something that as I'm doing that work, like, oh, this is having an impact? No. Same for science. And again, it's not saying that they don't have an impact, but when I'm looking at my life in total, they did not, but the arts always did. So I think one of the major benefits is the ability for it to be so all-encompassing, because just taking dance, I can cover math, I can cover science, I can cover grammar, sentence structure, all of this through movement, history. I can cover all of those things within my craft. And there is a level of importance I find in that it permeates through everything. As a musician, it was funny because I'd never thought about it like that when I was growing up, but looking back, I'm like, oh, well, when they were teaching us like how to read music, that's 100% math. And it is also learning a different language. Because I'm like, the language of music is a thing. I'm like, that is everybody can't do it. Right. And I'm like, I don't know that enough people really put that out there enough that musicians are legit learning a completely different language.
Right.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
And I did take that for granted because I was like, oh yeah, no, they taught me how to do it. I just know how to do it. I'm good at it. But now looking, I'm like,
oh, you don't know what that means? You don't want
like you can't like you. I can't.
You don't hear that. You don't hear that crescendo? No.
Yes. Like you don't. Clearly, they went from piano to forte, not pianissimo to forte. Like there's a difference.
Yeah.
You don't hear that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't just hand any random person on the street some sheet music and say, hey, read that to me.
Right.
And I think that gets overlooked. Like, I know other musicians get that, but I'm like, does the general public? Because I'm like, no, I was like, this is it's a language. Is it the most complicated language in the world? No. But is it still another language, another way to communicate? I would say yes.
Yeah.
So I think there's a way of thinking that we just have more access to, and I enjoy it.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think that like I have always prided myself on being able to incorporate all those things into a dance class. And I think that a lot of people don't know how accessible those core subjects are within dance. Like they're not sometimes I feel like I reach really far with math and dance. Sometimes that's a reach, but like everything else from your social studies, from science and ELA, like I think all of those are highly accessible in a dance class. Like we do them every day. And so, yeah, like I think that the positive of it is just, I think that's important. And I think it's a real misfortune that like people don't understand that when students have those art, music, vocal music, instrumental music, dance in their curriculum or in their schedules, all that's doing is just reiterating the things that they are learning in that Algebra 2 class, in that world history class, and some of the things that I've been able to do, like whenever my first year at High Point, I teamed up with one of the English teachers, and they were doing Gatsby. They're reading Gatsby, and so they wanted to learn like a Charleston swing dance, which we did, that was a really fun way to kind of connect those stories together with something that my students were doing at the time and her students were doing at the time. And so she brought her students down, and my students taught them a dance. You know what I mean? So it's like all those things are just so important, and it's like I wish we had, maybe as dancers we need a better way to like put that out there, like that whole arts integration piece.
I agree. I would say even though all the arts are usually up for grabs, music and visual art I feel are usually the safest of the group. I don't think I've ever been anywhere.
Like choral music? Because I feel like band, like instrumental music is all, like, I feel like that got cut way before.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly choral before instrumental.
Yeah.
And I think it's not view of, but child, the word left me immediately. But like the perception of
Yeah.
accessibility
Right.
that I hate this sentence, but I'm gonna use it because it's what people say. Well, everyone can draw, everyone can sing, and I'm like, y'all be lying, because
Right,
let me tell you,
yeah,
not all of us.
Mm-mm.
But there is an accessibility to that idea of being in a vocal music class and being in an art class that not that I would like to believe doesn't cheapen how people are viewing those arts, but they just seem more attainable. With instrumental music, because like I was a band kid. You gotta have an instrument,
right?
And yes, they've gotten better with the schools trying to provide things, but let me be real. If you really want to be about it, usually you're going to have to at some point purchase an instrument, and they don't be cheap all the time. Or let me correct that. You don't want the cheap one.
Right.
Like you want a good quality instrument so it will last you.
Right.
Unless I'm wrong, this is an assumption because I can't sing, so I've never been in chorus. But what major purchase would you need to be able to function in that class? Because I can't think of one.
Maybe like a performance, like something like a dress for the performance might be the biggest, but sometimes that's school provided. But I know for some, some it's not. But as far as, I know like our chorus teacher, who's a good friend of mine. I know that he has worked hard to like kind of build up that like his like that. I feel like in that realm you want good music, and I don't know how much, if choral music is more expensive than instrumental music, so I don't know how that works. Just because you have to buy all the parts in chorus, but there's more parts and there's more instruments in
and then you have to pay like for the rights to be doing that. Bless them.
Yeah, but like I feel like there's not a whole lot of expenses that he has to the students. You know what I mean? So that's really nice, I guess, in that regard. But even in dance, and we talked about that in another episode, right? Like investing in dance, right? And like, what does it cost to really do that? At bare minimum, it could be, I don't know, it could be shoes, it could be, dance wear, but your body is your instrument, right? So your voice is your instrument. So I feel like the two, it's funny because now that I think about this, the two that, like art is it's not cheap.
Let me tell you, because I live with an artist and I was like, didn't know that it was that type of expensive.
Yeah.
Because similar to you want a good quality instrument, you want good quality products.
Right.
So I can get him some janky pencils, or I can get the ones that they actually sell for the sketchbooks. And I'm like, first of all, no pencil should cost this much in my world. But I'm like, I respect that this is what y'all are asking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But art is expensive, but I feel like at least the schools I've been in, there are funds allocated
for those materials,
for having those materials. And I think that, and I legit feel like that gets overlooked for them, that like a lot of parents don't know how much that stuff costs.
Right.
They just know that their kid has access to it and that they're in the art class. And it's like, nah, man, like I've seen like some art budgets before, and I'm like, where y'all get this money from, first of all? But then y'all spend every penny. Like, and it's not like they're getting frivolous things, like just the things that are necessary for them to do their curriculum. I was like, y'all stuff expensive.
Yeah.
Like, shoo.
Yeah.
That's like us trying to furnish a whole costume closet in one go.
Right.
Which is a sin. So like, bless them.
Right.
But I think to your point of that similarity between at least choral music and dance,
Mm-hmm.
I think for dance, it can be traced back to those earlier ideas about dance being for the elite.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it's like, oh my God, it's like no matter what we do, we cannot quite break past that.
Mm-hmm.
And so like there's this idea of, okay, well, if my child is in dance, then I'm gonna have to buy all of these costumes and I have to get all these shoes. And what about point shoes? And what about tap shoes? I was like, well, first of all, who said your kid's doing all of that?
Right.
That's an assumption.
Right.
But those ideas are still attached.
Mm-hmm.
And it's weird because there's that side of it. And then there's that side of, well, everyone can dance, which again, I say, everyone who has the capacity to do movement can move, but not everybody can dance.
Right.
These are different things.
Right.
And folks can at me if they want to about that one, but I'm like, nah. I'm like, it just is what it is. Everyone can't do everything.
Right.
Just regular life. And that's fine. But I think being approached with the idea of, oh, well, it's just dance. Like, everyone can do this. And it's like, no, everyone can't. But I still want to be able to offer it. But I need you to get these things. And then it's like, as soon as you say, I need you to get these things, then immediately that wall comes down and we're back to being at that elitist status.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what'll be a good thing to do is to pull some other artists into this conversation, like circle back to this at some point and ask if they have that happen. Like if they ever have that feeling of, it's like all of a sudden you just put that wall down on somebody and they're just like, oh, well, this is too much. It's like, this is bare minimum. Like it's not. I'm trying to give you what you deserve out of this.
Right.
But in order to do so, I need you to do this part.
Right.
But
I wonder if, like, the accessibility that people have to all these things that are art, like, I TikTok comes to mind, and like, people being able to like see this dance, practice it a bunch of times, and then do it on TikTok. Like, I wonder if it gives like that. It's almost like whenever So You Think You Could Dance came out, and how I had very mixed feelings about So You Think You Can Dance, because it just kind of made dancers feel like they wanted that immediate, like day one of dance one. Why am I not doing fortes at the end of this class? And I'm just like, I'm like, wait, what?
I'm like, no, baby, no, that's not how this works at all.
That's not how that works. Like, no, you're not just gonna all of a sudden day one be like, so when are we gonna do like the switch sleeps? And I'm like, no, that's
not this year.
Right, exactly. But I feel like when that came out, it just gave people these dreams about, or like these ideas about what they wanted to do with dance, not really realizing that like the people that are on this show, although they were like teens or maybe in their 20s, they have been dancing for teens or 20-ish years. You know what I mean? Like, and then they just so happen to get on this show. And so like, you don't get to see like the background to like what it took to get there, and what it meant to be a dancer. And I think that like, TikTok might be a blessing and a curse to the dance world, because you have all these little mini choreographers that are coming up with these routines. And I don't even know if I would call them a routine. There's just like these phrases. Phrases. They're like little mini phrases. And so people may have this idea, well, that's what dance is. Have you danced before? Well, I've made several TikToks.
Like,
okay. Yeah, but on the flip side of that, both what So You Think You Can Dance and what I think TikTok is doing is still shining that light on the dance world and what it means to move, and how difficult it is to actually get out there and do it. So it's like, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, it's as much as like the arts are on the chopping blocks, as much as like dance sometimes is on the chopping block, it's like we always come back. We always come back in some way, in some form, whether it's something like So You Think You Can Dance, or whether it's something like TikTok, you know, because I feel like, I don't know when So You Think You Dance came out, but it seemed like that was around the time when the arts was having that, well, at least in my lifetime, that initial like cut was happening. And I think because so many people watched that show and like, well, like what was J-Lo's show? Best World of Dance?
Yeah. Yes.
America's Best Dance Crew. Like when all those shows were around, like I think that hype of dance kept kind of coming back. And so, yeah, I think that it's interesting.
Yeah. You reminded me of the fact that people legit took these shows, like took watching them and just completely ignored the fact of how much work people put into getting to that point. And so I'm curious as to if because I don't think there ever has been, but could there ever be shows of similar ilk that are based upon like instrumental music or visual art? I mean, I guess you could say like America's Got Talent. Not that one. What's the one folks be singing all the time? Is that
American Idol?
Thank you. I was like, child. Yeah. That lets you know how much I don't be watching all this. But I'm like,
well, like American Idol.
But you know what? I would argue that vocally, people were really out there watching shows like that and like, oh, I can sing. And it's like,
No.
No, you can't.
Yeah.
So,
it would be interesting to see if people in the choral music field saw any type of like increase, or like the kids thought like, well, why am I not able to do these riffs and belt out these songs in day one of chorus? Like I thought, when am I going to get a solo?
Like, when do I learn how to do this run?
Right, exactly.
Not this year.
Not this year.
Like, can you learn to just hold a note? Can we just be on pitch? Can we do that?
Right.
Is that an option?
Yeah.
That is a good question.
It would be interesting to see a show that did highlight specifically for visual art. And I'm not talking, because there's several shows that will do that, right? Like I think even thinking about like Project Runway is a little bit of a visual art. I think there's like all those makeup artists, the Face Off, like with people and doing like makeup art and like, you know what I mean? Like it's, I see it with that, but I'm talking like everybody has to draw these mountains and trees, like you're on Bob Ross, and we're gonna talk. We're gonna discuss your ability and your craft, your technique, and all that. Or like even, you know, we're America's Best Orchestra. Could you imagine? There's like 100 violinists, 100 like.
Yes.
Oh my God. So it's like you're all fighting for those chairs to be in it.
Patent this idea.
I know, right?
Don't give this away for free. I would watch that. I would wholeheartedly.
I think a ton of people would watch
and like whittle that down to like a solid orchestra.
Orchestra.
I would be here for that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many seasons that would run or could run. Maybe it'd be really short-lived, but I think that could be. You take the best. I mean, it would be the best of the best. Everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how many chairs are in each section though, so that's where I don't know.
I think it varies. Yeah. But I would say you would need at least one person per part. minimum.
Yeah.
And so like I know usually like trombone, you usually have 3 to 4 parts. So you would need at least 3 to 4.
Right.
Ooh, because even within that, you have to decide how to rank people.
Right.
That I'm like, okay, you may be the top 4, but who's gonna sit first chair?
Right. Yeah. That would be.
I would watch this. I would be here for this.
That would be really cool.
Somebody make this happen.
I need to pitch
Give us credit.
Give us credit, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Just cut a check. It's fine. Like, but I would watch this. Like, that would be good.
Yeah.
Because like that lifestyle is crazy.
Or even like something that follows like the drum and like the DCI. The drum corps.
Drum corps, yeah.
Yeah. But like taking out of all of them, I know they're very competitive between each other, but like out of all of them, like taking the best of the best into like one America's Best DCI.
Yeah. Part of me is almost like, I believe this is how this movie went. I haven't seen it in forever, but like the Truman Show, that from like youngin' all the way to adulthood, we just follow your life.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's a thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would fly. Like, okay, we ain't got to start from like childhood, but like from the moment someone first starts studying their craft.
Right.
And following them. There was a dance show that was similar-ish.
Well, I feel like Dance Moms could have really taken that, because you did see those girls
grow up
through
that process.
Yeah. But Abby Lee was just crazy. Is she in jail?
Is she?
I don't know. I thought maybe she was in jail, or maybe there was some legal stuff that was going on. I can't remember.
Questions that need answers.
Yes. Is she? But yeah, no, I think that I wonder if there could, you know how like people do like these very like is she in jail?
So according to Google, in June 2016, she pleaded guilty to felony bankruptcy fraud and was sentenced in May 2017 to 1 year and a day in federal prison, but she was released early.
Oh, okay.
So she shouldn't be in there now.
She's not in there. Oh, okay.
Yeesh. All right, sis, out here.
Yeah.
Living life. Let me never.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm too black for that. I don't think I would be in federal prison. No. I feel like it would go left for me immediately. So you know what? We can't play those games.
But yeah, no, I was thinking like those like a day without art, like so people can see like how artists really contribute to the world. If you could go through the world without like encountering something that an artist of any kind offered you. You're like, wait a minute, hold on.
Because there's this channel that I watch on YouTube, and a real question is, have they done a video on that? Because if not,
we might need to suggest that.
Hit them up.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Y'all should do a video. Okay, so keep going. I'm
yeah.
like,
yeah. So
clearly.
Yeah. So no, my mind's everywhere. I think that it would just do a real disservice to a lot of people if, sometimes I think like why don't we have, like, who is the next Chopin? Who's the next Michelangelo? Who's the next Alvin Ailey? Who's the next Martha Graham? Who's the next, like, I feel like, and that's the thing, like with vocal music, like we have so many great singing artists, that are out there doing some really iconic and cool things. And maybe it's kind of one of those things where, I don't know, like nobody is opening up a dance school or has a place where like young dancers go and says, I'm gonna go live, like what's the Jacob's Pillow, you know what I mean? No one's going to a place like that where it's like, I'm gonna go live, breathe, and eat, dance, where you probably aren't making any money, but you do have room and board, but you spend most of your time just dancing and working, and you're getting, I'm assuming they got paid. I don't know much about the history of all that. Like, yeah.
And you mean, so when you're saying like that, I'm going to just be here, and this is all we're going to do, like adults, yes?
Like adults, yeah.
Like adults. Well, okay,
young, like young adults. Like people who are
because
like,
there is somewhere, I don't know, I just be watching documentaries way too much and not paying attention to the names of them. But I want to say somewhere in New York, there's a school. Those are teenagers. And they just be there, living life. And I'm like, first of all, if my child got in, I would let them be there. I would. I'm not even going to lie.
Yeah.
I'll come check on you. Because I remember one of the episodes was like one of the kids was talking about like, I had to learn how to do my laundry and like, make sure that I like keep track of my schedule. And I was like, yes, be responsible at 13, 14 years old.
Well, yeah.
I'm not offended by it at all.
Yeah.
I think I have more questions, but
yeah,
I think there should be more institutions like that though.
Yes, I agree.
Or specifically for the arts. Let me say that.
Yes. Because I think that's maybe as a society we shied away from that kind of learning.
Yes.
Because now we want these like really like well-rounded, or like we just want kids. We're such a capitalist society that like if you're not in this certain range, if you're not doing these things, then like you're not really, are you deemed successful in the eye of society? And maybe society makes it really hard to do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know what I mean? Like maybe we don't make it possible for someone to want to study art in that way.
Yeah.
To have like a true art education. Like, no, your degree plan does not include taking basics. Like the idea is that you're learning those basics through that art. You know what I mean? Could you imagine the type of artists we could have if that was really 100% their focus is just the art? And this, that, and that.
Amazing.
Yeah, because I feel like there's a lot of philosophy, there's a lot of reading, there's a lot of studying, there's a lot of research, there's a lot of, like, you're doing the history, you're learning, you're moving your body. You know what I mean? Everything that we said dance encompasses, like you're doing all that in that dance school.
Yeah. But
you're doing it 100% through dance. And, maybe there's some things that you could and should supplement, but it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, when I was in high school, I was on path to do this distinguished degree plan. So I was trying to take a 4x4. So 4 math, 4 sciences, 4 social studies, 4 English language arts. So in my 4 histories, like I took economics, I took government, I took U.S. history, I took world history, I took world geography. And to then go to college and spend 2 semesters taking History 101, which I'm like, I just did all that. So how come I didn't have
But why?
But why? Yeah. And then also took 2 dance histories.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if I could have and let's just be real, that that world history lesson, it was the same in History 101. Like, it didn't change much, but it would have been nice to have been able to dive deeper into, as a dancer, it would have been nice to maybe spend 4 semesters really diving into dance history, instead of taking that required History 101, History 102.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
And I think, especially with, again, the right teacher, it is so interesting.
Yeah.
My first time taking dance history in undergrad was trash.
Oh no.
They taught it just like a regular history course. And it was like, memorize these dates, memorize that this thing happened. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the absolute worst.
Yeah.
But then in the MFA program, like, we were also, of course, looking at like theory and critique in that course, but the actual historical discussions, amazing. And I was like, I needed these teachers in undergrad.
Yeah.
That would have gotten me so much further.
Yeah.
And if I would have had, I would say the first session I took with them was rough, but predominantly because my introduction to dance history was so rough.
Right.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this is a lot. But the second time that I was with them, it was like, oh my God, that makes sense. That clicks. Oh, now I understand how we got to this place. And if it could have been that type of a situation, like you said, for at least 4 semesters, and really able to like dig in and have those conversations.
Right.
I'm like, I can't even fathom how much more knowledge I would have about the field given that opportunity.
Right.
And it's just,
yeah.
And it should have, I don't understand why those types of classes can't be substituted for the other ones. Because I'm like, but am I using this one though? I'm not.
I'm not. Yeah.
Technically doing the same thing.
And they're going to overlap. And I think you could do that. I think even if we did that in thinking of higher ed, even if they did that in any of the disciplines, how great of a mathematician you would be if you knew a lot of the historical values or the scientific value of all of those things. And I feel like, we don't have, we're just, like I said, just so wrapped up in that being well-rounded. But like, a lot of those people who were great because that craft was, I want to say that's all they knew. And I would believe that they knew other things. Just like I think you and I both, we know other things besides dance.
Yeah.
But the fact that they really were able to hone in on those ideas and really study them is probably, like, if you really understand and know music, just think of the craftsmanship a composer we could create.
Yeah.
By having someone who really understands the sound and the just every nuance about music.
Like, part of me, not in necessarily a negative way, but part of me is like, when you're able to hone in like that, it means you have fewer distractions. And no shade, but if I know this is what I want to pursue, then being able to minimize the distractions will do nothing but benefit me. Right. And like you were saying, like, so much of it overlaps. that I can still, like, if I were honing in specifically only on dance training, but I'm still learning math, I'm still learning science, I'm still learning English, like I'm learning all of these things through dance. It's not that they're being cut out. It's just that I have a different entry point and I have a different perspective from how I'm approaching it, but I'm still able to learn the concepts that need to be learned.
Right.
And I feel like for our educational system, that somehow doesn't translate in a way that people understand.
Right.
Because again, I'm not saying that like people shouldn't take math and shouldn't take science and English and history. Like, I'm not saying that, but we shouldn't all have to learn it the same way. Like, I might need a different entry point into learning about World War I than somebody whose focal point is that they're extremely interested in history, or even better, someone who, like, they really connect with the idea of learning more about military strategies.
Or policy, political strategy, political decision making. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, like, we have different entry points, but we can still be learning about the same thing. And you know what? I think part of it is that there's this idea that everything is always so black and white, and that this is the one way to do it. And especially with how things are currently, it's like, but no, there is not really just one way to do most things. Right. Most things have multiple ways that you can do it, and multiple ways you can look at it. I think there are more things that have those multiple entry points than there are that don't. And like, how our education system has been set up, I believe, has been from that perspective of, well, this is the correct way. And anything that deviates from that is not as valuable, or it's not allowed. But there needs to be a revision of how these systems are set. I have an idea and I'm trying to formulate it in such a way that it's not completely offensive. And it's like, whoo, child, struggle. Because I just had I had to explain something to a person on the Facebook, and I was just like, I don't understand why this needs to be explained to you. But let's just say, we'll take me and you for example. So let's say I'm in the majority and you're in the minority. So I'm making the decisions of what should be learned. As a woman, I am making the decision that we are learning things from the woman's perspective in history. Now, for you, that's not to say that you don't see importance in that, but you're also going to be like,
I ain't a woman.
this don't necessarily apply. Right. And I might be out in these streets saying things a certain type of way to ensure that my version of the story sounds great.
Correct. Which
could involve falsehoods.
Right.
So that's how our system is set up.
Exactly.
It's like, y'all just be out here talking. Right. And you're telling me that this is how history went. It's like, observation, you're lying. That's not what happened. Somebody was talking about random video, like the story of the first Thanksgiving that we are like told as kids, and it's like, there's so many components to this story that y'all just smooth did not put in there.
Right. That
I was an adult almost before I was like, but wait, y'all did what?
Yeah.
Y'all was out here genocide. What? This was not a cozy type of transition into this country. Like, what? But the people who hold that majority power are the ones who set these standards and decide what's the way to do things.
Right.
That's why they mad now, because we be like, yeah, this ain't working.
Right.
Because it's not working. And then somehow it's still about them. But we're not going to go there today, because this is my birthday week. I'm going to be positive.
Yes.
When we get off, I'm gonna tell you about this thing. You can see it. In fact, if I can tag you in it, I'll tag you in it. But
okay.
It just be like, oh, all right. So this idea of being able to really delve in and experience all these other things through your craft, I think needs to be genuinely brought to the table. And it's not that people haven't brought these things to the table before. I don't think. Like I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I'm pretty sure somebody has to have said this before. Yeah. But I feel as though this needs to be pushed more and more and more, because there's clearly something missing. And clearly the way things have been going, it isn't working. Right. And so I'm like, okay, well, we're just going to keep doing the same thing, hoping for a different result, because that's dumb. Right. Like, it's not going to happen. I can't keep driving the same direction to get to the Wegmans, but expect to end up at Target. It's like, but you keep going to the left instead of turning right.
Right, yeah.
It's like you can't keep doing this and expecting something else to happen.
Right.
And so I think it's, change is scary for most people. But that's the only way to get to something new, is to change.
Yeah, I think that could be a really interesting reform in education too, is to, we always feel like, we look at our European counterparts and we think that, like, sometimes the things that they're doing in their, like, high school, in their before post-secondary, like the thing that they're doing in secondary, it's like college level stuff, and some of the ways that they are kind of interacting and doing things. And like some of these kids that, we interacted with at DETI last year, like I was just really impressed at like some of the things that they were thinking about and doing. However, they were undergrad.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm like, I don't think I had those ideas. Or I think one or two of them might have been graduate students. I think, were they all undergrad students? I don't know if you.
I think some of them were
graduate.
Older. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just interesting if we. I mean, I just feel like we're so fortunate to really have dance in like our like elementary, middle, and high schools here. Some of our elementary, some of our middle, most of our high school, I should say. I wish I could, especially with my older ones, do a little bit more to really dive into that in a way that would be really meaningful for them when they get to college, and like, they can be a little bit ahead of the game.
Yeah.
But it's just, there's just never enough time to do all that, sadly. But it would be lovely to offer like a dance history. I feel like we are qualified to teach that, right?
Yeah. 100% qualified.
Yeah. But like as like an alternative history, like.
And see, and that right there is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Why is that not an option?
Yeah. Easy. And it would be fun. I think if I was a senior and I had taken everything and I'm just like, I don't know, I just need to take something, but I don't know what.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like dance history. I'd be like, okay, as a dancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's music theory, AP music theory.
Mm-hmm.
Why is there no AP, or is there AP dance theory and I don't know about?
No, there is not. I'm like, first of all, we have all the theory.
Yeah.
All the history. We got all the philosophy too.
Right.
I don't know why dance doesn't have an AP something. Like,
yeah,
need to.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have been down to teach a AP dance history course.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, you need to learn this information. I'm just giving you another lens to look at it through.
Right.
You should advocate for that. I support you.
Okay, thank you. Let me see who I need to contact. Contact NDEO.
Yes.
Yeah.
We gotta make some things happen.
I know.
Because it doesn't make sense that that's not an option. Because there's AP art classes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, AP art. Oh, yeah, totally. There's AP art. I think we might be the only discipline who does not have it. There's IB, all of that, but there's no AP. There's no AP dance, anything.
There needs to be. That needs to change.
Yeah.
Because that used to be one of my things, trying to, first of all, explain to people that would be trying to tell their kids. Well, I had them tell kids that, well, you can't major in dance. And I'm like, I did though. So you're lying to your child. There's that. Right. Yeah. Or the people when I'm like, oh, well, my master's is in dance. They're like, so did you dance all the time? I'm like, no.
Yeah, no.
All the history and theory and critique and philosophy. I was like, child, we don't be doing nothing but reading and writing. Like, I need you to understand there's more to us than just what you see happen on stage or what you see happen in a video. I'm like, just like how every subject has more to it than just a little sliver you know. Yeah, we're like that too. It's us.
Yeah.
We have all the things. Man, that reminds me. I feel like there was a dance history course offered at my school this year. I wonder if that's going to be offered again. I think it was at night though. And I'm like, I don't know. I could teach. I could do it online. Suggestions. All right, I'm going to make a note of that.
Hold on. In the College Board, there's pre-AP Visual and Performing Arts.
See?
Overview. Pre-AP offers 4-year-long courses in the arts: pre-AP dance, pre-AP music, pre-AP theater, pre-AP visual arts. These 4 distinct courses share one set of themes, underlying unit foundations and areas of focus. The frameworks, model lessons, and performance assessments are specific to each course and are designed to be incorporated into a range of existing arts courses in each of these disciplines. Oh, I'm about to contact my AP coordinator today and be like,
yes,
hey, say, if you want to do this, I'm all for it.
Yes.
But with pre-AP, I guess with pre-AP, you don't have to take an AP test.
Okay. But it at least would be a step in the right direction, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think once you get to the point where you're discussing AP stuff, they might be more willing to save you.
Right.
They're like, we were going to cut dance, but he got this AP course. They be scoring well. It makes us look good.
Right. I'm going to ask Tamisha about this too. Like, say, I think I might suggest, say.
He's like, hey, look at this.
Look at this.
I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to see what happens. Yeah, no, I think that is a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wonder why they didn't put that out there sooner. Somebody out there would be complaining. Like, well, that's more work. Okay, well then Heffa don't do it. I don't know. Like, but some people legitimately are about this business.
Right.
Let us be about it.
Exactly.
Like, oh, I wish that would have been an option.
Yeah. At my school, like our AP, like that'd be ticking me off so much because I had a girl who should have been in my dance 3 class, and she wanted to take AP art, and it was only offered during my dance 3 class. And they will take some people out of my dance class to be like, oh,
They sure will.
they need to be an AP. They need to be an AP. And I'm just like,
immediately, no questions asked.
I think we probably talked about this before, but I was like, are they going to pass that AP test? So why are they taking that AP class?
Questions that need answers.
Because let's be real, if they're not going to pass that AP test, that's a waste of their time.
It is. I'm like, are y'all just throwing them in there and hoping for the best?
Right.
I don't know that that's how that should work.
I'm sure it gives their AP program points.
Yeah.
Have a certain number of AP students in the school.
But does it benefit if they're not passing?
Right, exactly. I feel like on the back end of that, when you think about test scores, then those AP scores ain't going to come back right. So then you're going to get dinged. So you're dinged if you don't have enough or you don't have a program, but then are you on the back end dinged because they don't pass the test? I'm wondering if you're not necessarily dinged for the ones that don't pass, you're dinged for the one. Tamisha says we'll need to research it and consider it adopting it as a course. We're gonna get some pre-AP in PG County.
Full support. I'm here for it.
Yes.
See, just gotta make some things happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know. I think Tamisha on it because she's loud now. She's like, hold on. Let me. Yeah.
Full support. Of which, do me a favor, text her, tell her we gonna have her on here, so she just needs to let us know when she's good. I'll send her what questions we gonna be asking her.
Okay.
But just so she knows, maybe if it comes from you. If it come from me, she knows something left is gonna happen. So maybe if it comes from you, it'll work out. It's fine. But I will say, again, full support of that
Yeah,
because that will help start to shift the narrative. I
think so too. And like what that could, God, I mean, I just think of all. Sorry, I'm reading her message.
It's okay.
Now she's on. Now she's on it, and I'm like, yes, I agree.
Yes.
I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, I agree because I just think of all the like PG dance. I'm gonna gas us up real quick. PG dance, I think, has a lot of like the amount of classes that can be offered at a liberal arts school alone. Like you have your dance 1 through 4, you have repertory, you have dance production, you have dance for athletes. You could potentially have a pre-AP dance course. Like all of these courses that could be offered, it's like, I don't know. Like I just feel like we could do so much with really helping somebody. Like I just feel like we could be in the forefront of really what having dance at a high school, having dance at a performing arts high school could really be. Because I know in Texas, you have dance 1 through 4, you have drill team, dance team, and that's your dance program. You don't really have a dance production class. You don't have a repertory class, although that could be like your dance team is technically a repertory class. But I just think that I am valuing a little bit. Like I love my Texas dance folks, and if some of them watch this is no way of like sliding dance in Texas, because I think that dance in Texas is like amazing when like some of these programs have like 2 and 3 teachers. Like that's the norm, is for you to have 2 dance teachers at your high school. So it's definitely important. I'm just speaking on, I wish that when I was in Texas that some of the offerings that we have could have been the offerings there. But I think because everything's so driven by dance team, drill team, that sometimes the concert artistic side of the dance world, I don't feel like you have to go to like a performing arts school in order to really get that.
Yeah.
And I feel like for students who are really like coming through my program like head first, freshman year, like I'm in it to win it. I'm about to learn how to dance. I'm about to learn these skills, this technique, that I can see a progress in them, and I see a lot more for some of them artistically than I saw in Texas. I don't know.
Which, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that assessment.
Yeah.
Because just from the sound of it, there's more space for you here to really introduce that type of artistic quality into their movement and into their personal vocabulary, that when you don't have that space, you may get, those students who are just naturally gifted in that realm, and you're able to like pull more from them. But I will always think of my one baby. I love her. I mean, I really do need to have her on at some point, but she didn't have that natural ability. And if I wasn't in the county at the time and able to really expose her to things and help her to expand, then she wouldn't be where she is now. And like, that's not me taking credit for her greatness, because she's just actually great on her own. Right. But the fact that the way the curriculum was built, that there was space to foster that artistic side, I think is what really made the difference. If it would have been a different type of setup, then she wouldn't be the artist she is now, because she wasn't one of the ones who came in and was like, oh, I'm just naturally creative and thinking of this and this and this. She worked for it. Right. And having that curriculum enabled her to be exposed to it, so she knew what she wanted to work for. So,
yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, we went all across the map today.
Yeah, we did. But I still feel like it was our bubble was large.
Yes, we stayed in the bubble.
I don't think we ever went out of the bubble. Although, like when we started to, it's like, no, we're gonna wrap that and tie that back.
Yeah, tie that back. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, love. Before I let you go, you know what time it is. Ultimate Dance Trio. Okay, so this one's pretty easy today. Okay. If you could, because there's only so many options, if you could be proficient in 3 other art forms, what would they be?
3 other art forms? Yeah. First and foremost, I would love to learn an instrument. My sister played the clarinet, and so that was always interesting. I was in middle school. I was in elementary school. She was in middle school. She was actually pretty good, but then stopped to play basketball. Anyhow, so I would want to learn an instrument. And then I think my next, so this is in order. My next would be to be a visual artist. Specifically, I wish I knew how to I wish I knew how to sketch better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like those sketches that look like they're actual pictures, like portraits.
Mm-hmm.
So that's neat. And then I would love to be, not just this. I don't know. I would love if I was like trained in musical theater.
Mm-hmm. Child, my kids are loud in this here background. Hey, we made it so far.
No, we did made it so far. No, it's okay.
Can't have nothing nice.
Yeah, like I would love to adopt some type of like, or not adopt. I would love to do some type of like Broadway musical theater, but like for vocals.
Okay, yeah.
Broadway music training. Because talking to my choral teacher, I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if like we could have like our performing arts program be like, you could just take all of your electives in like dance, choir, and like and like theater, because we do have a theater teacher, and theater, and then like we just have these like bomb kids that are like trained and like they're just triple threats.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome.
You know,
just start churning them out.
Right. Exactly. People be like, "Oh my God, High Point is turning out these Broadway like."
Like yes,
yeah, that's how we do it here.
Yes. Again, full support. I'll be there at the shows.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I think those are solid options.
Yeah.
I think I would want to be able to sketch first.
Mm-hmm.
I can draw stick figures.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got for real. So to just be able to do more than that would be wonderful. Then I would say vocal training, because I can't sing at all. Like I can hear what it should be, and I know I don't sound like that. So I would like to fix that.
That's so honest, because sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, I sound just like them."
Child,
like, maybe I don't.
I never do. I'll be like, "Whoo, child, you sound bad. You shouldn't sing." So I'm like, I'm very aware of that. I'll still sing along in the car, but I'm like, this don't sound good. I'm gonna sing quietly, so you just hear the song. And then I think I would end with, I would love to be able to do sculptures. Because like I just can't fathom how people see, like have an image of what they want. Like, and I mean like old school sculptures, like you give me a block of marble and I just chip away until it's like a beautiful masterpiece. I'm just like, how did you see that in there?
Right.
But then I guess there are people who are like, how did you choreograph that? And I'm like, well, I saw what I wanted it to be. And so I did that.
Right.
So I guess there's a similarity there, but I'm like, yo, how do y'all even, it's a block of marble, guys. Right. Or it's a block of wood. Like, how did you get there? Yeah. So I think that would be really cool. I would have like all the sculptures in my house. It would be insane. So yeah, I think those would be mine.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And thank you all for joining us again. Make sure to follow us across all the platforms, or at least all the ones that we be on, because technology. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them in the comments on YouTube or Instagram. Make sure to like, follow, share the good word with everyone. And we look forward to bringing you some fresh new content next week. See you then. Bye.
Bye.